Hello everybody, this is Train King James here, and I am excited today to give you a little bit of a different kind of video. This video was something that kind of came across my mind as I thought back to my series where I went through every season and reviewed episodes. And I decided today that we are going to shout out, in my opinion, the top 10 original Thomas characters. There was one in particular on this list that I want to do a follow-up video to, because I have a lot to say about them, but we're going to just kind of list them off here. So here are my rules. Rule 1. This is TV series characters only. So this can be this does not include railway series original characters or magazine stories or anything or even something like story collection characters, anything like that. They cannot have any tie to anything outside of the TV series. So these characters were wholly created by the TV series for the TV series. They can appear in magazine stories, but it can't be like a little bark fruit or something like that. They have to originate within the TV series. Number 2. This is no headcanon. And what I mean by that is, this is not how I see the characters or how I may write them in my series or use them in other works. This is what the TV series presented the characters as their pure basic form. So, nothing added outside of the show, it's just what they did in the show and how much I like it. So yeah, those are the rules. And yeah, so it's pretty much just TV series characters. This is just in my opinion, so I'd love to hear you others list in the comments as well, but let's not waste any more time. Let's just get into it. So starting off first with my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is Ari and Bert, and the reason why I'm putting them as an honorable mention is specifically a version of their characters that I'm shouting out. Season 5's Ari and Bert that we see in Stepney Gets Lost is such an interesting character, or characters to have in the show, because they're dark, they're eerie, we know almost nothing about them, but yet we also know a lot, because they don't say a lot, but we can tell that these are very twisted characters that are willing to scrap Stepney, and they almost delight in it. And, I mean, they come by far the closest to killing a character in the show, and they delighted in it. And it says so much about these dark critters and how dangerous they could be. And I just thought that was such a cool iteration of the character, and we never see them act like that again. They just kind of become Diesel's lackeys after that, which is kind of disappointing. So that's why they didn't make the list. And ironically, another honorable mention is Splatter and Dodge. Splatter and Dodge, I loved what they were in Magic Railroad. They're hilarious, they're a great duo, they are beloved by the fandom. It's just one of those things where they only appeared once. They had an extremely memorable role, but we just didn't get enough of them, so I couldn't quite put them on this list. And my final honorable mention, and this was essentially my number 11 on the list. It was very tough to cut her, but Marion. I like Marion. I love a lot of the stuff she's in, especially Lost Treasure and Tale of the Brave. Unfortunately, she kind of gets cut mainly just because she didn't have a lot of longevity in the show. Her prime was mainly around the 18th and 19th season. After that, she didn't get much after that, so it's kind of upsetting. But I love Marion. I love her ditzy personality. I just like what she brings. She brings a lot of energy, a lot of fun, bouncy energy to every scene, and she steals every scene that she's in. So she's a fun character to see interact with the rest of the cast. Okay, let's get into the top 10. Number 10. Whiff. So this feels like a weird addition. How did Whiff make this list? Well, you start thinking about it. Whiff's a character that originated in the hit era. You know, is a season 11 character that just managed to stick around. He's kind of like a cockroach. You can't quite kill Whiff. And he's rather interesting. He gets a lot of interesting appearances. He shows up kind of when you least expect him to. You know, in CGI, we get him in Misty Island Rescue of all places, and he actually plays a pretty interesting role in that movie. He gets a few episodes here and there. You know, and we get to see him interact with so many different characters. We see him interact with Emily, and Spencer, and Thomas. He gets a buddy to work with named Scruff, and it just feels like Whiff's kind of that fun character. He's kind of quirky. He's that weird, awkward guy that people usually raise an eyebrow to, but you kind of get to know him. He's a really friendly chap. You know, doesn't really have a bad bone in his body, and he's just a fun guy to see around the show. He's whimsical. I mean, the fact that he made it to All Engines Go as a decently prominent character in that, when some of the main characters of the show didn't, it says a lot about Whiff. So I'm putting him number 10 on this list. Number 9, Victor. Victor might have one of the most interesting backstories for an original character to the TV series. Victor was first introduced to us in Hero of the Rails, and he appeared very prominently throughout a lot of CGI. He appeared in a lot of the specials. I believe the only special, outside of The Adventure Begins for obvious reasons, that he didn't appear in up to like season 20-ish, I think, or around Journey Beyond Sodor, is Tale of the Brave, which is weird because there is a Steamworks scene that year, so maybe they couldn't get the voice actor for Victor at that point. But you know, we get to see a lot of Victor's backstory in Blue Mountain Mystery, and that's like one of the best parts of that movie. We find out how he came to Sodor, and the events that unfolded once he got here. He's a no-nonsense tough guy, but he's kind of like, you know, he's somewhere between a doctor and a therapist for a lot of the characters, because he's always trying to fix everyone, but he can't literally do it, but he talks to the characters, and he knows how to talk to every character. You know, he's nice and friendly to characters like Thomas and Percy, but when you have someone bossy like Spencer, he knows how to shut him down. He's got a great undying love for his assistant Kevin, even if he gets annoyed by him sometimes. I mean, I think one of my favorite Victor episodes is Snow Place Like Home, where Victor, you know, goes out in the snow to save Kevin, you know, even though he told Kevin not to go out and play in the snow and he disobeyed him. So it says a lot about Victor and how he feels about his assistant Kevin, how dedicated he is to his job, and really just how much of a fun character he is on screen. Number 8, Paxton. So Paxton is the number 8 character here. I really like Paxton, and it was hard to put him this low, mainly just because he doesn't get a ton of big roles in the show, but his big breakout role was in Blue Mountain Mystery, and I love what his character is. He's this gullible diesel engine that's kind of between both sides of the steam diesel conflict, and you know, you can understand why. He's someone that tries to see the good in everyone, and that can lead to his downfall, especially his relationship with Diesel, which it's one of the more interesting things that you notice as the CGI series goes on. That relationship slowly gets worse and worse, to where I think eventually Paxton even straight up tells Diesel, "You give Diesels a bad name." We see him interact off of Diesel 10, and he's even standing up to Diesel 10. He's just someone that he tries to be, you know, he tries to please everyone, he tries to find the good in everybody, but he plays a pretty pivotal role in the conflict between Steam and Diesel, and it's a shame we didn't see that in his earlier appearances, because early on he was just a background character, but now we got more information, he started to appear, and he really started to have positive impact in the show, and I really liked what the show did with him. So I'm putting Paxton here at 8. Number 7. Steven. Steven is an amazing character, and I love what they do with him. They don't just do the generic wise character gimmick with Steven. He's like a fun older uncle, you know, that frequently gets in trouble, but it doesn't matter because he's having fun and everyone else loves him too. I like that they do rely a lot on Steven's history, and I imagine some people are going to wonder, did I break my rule here? Technically speaking, the rocket in the Railway series that we see in Thomas and the Great Railway Show is a replica. And as far as the TV series is concerned, it's pretty obvious that Steven's the real Rocket. So technically, it's 2 different characters. So I didn't cheat. So, you know, but yes, Steven does count. And I mean, again, all of his roles are memorable. Since his introduction in King of the Railway, he's always been a fun character to see appear. He has some amazing episodes. I mean, Slow Steven is one of the best Brenner-era episodes, period. And then you have, you know, his appearance in Cautious Connor. That speech he gives Connor about the Rainhill trials and people blowing up and all that stuff was amazing. And it's just, he's such a fun character. They use him a lot for sight gags too, especially related to speed. But it's just one of those things where, you know, it's kind of fun to compare Steven with, like, the other engines. Like, you know, you compare Steve and Diesel for modern art, like for who's the most modern, and Steven is basically like he's so much older than everybody else that like, yeah, it's like he can't even handle pulling multiple trucks, you know, all that often. But yeah, Steven's a fun character to see on screen. Number 6, Spencer. Man, Spencer is a really fun character because he rarely disappoints when he's on screen. He can often be a memorable point of an episode, even if he just barely appears. Going back to even his debut, the fact that they've started off Spencer's arc in the show with an episode with him and Gordon sharing not only the episode but the title, and then their final Spencer's, I don't know if it was his true final appearance, but his last like starring role is an episode where he and Gordon share the spotlight again, and I think they bounce off of each other really well. It gives Gordon a legitimate rival in the show, compared to James and Henry, who necessarily don't compare as similarly to Gordon. Spencer is Gordon's cousin. Now, they never call him his cousin in the show, but it is rather interesting that they have this strong dynamic. It's almost like siblings, but, you know, different way. Spencer, it's fun to see him bounce off of every character, and even in CGI, they get experimental in who they have him bounce off of. You see him with Hiro and Whiff and Stafford in the Nitrogen era. You get episodes with pairing him up with Henry, and it's just, he's such an interesting character to see interact with, and especially his voice actor is really, really good in the US dub. So I love Spencer, and I think many of us do as well. Speaking of Hero of the Rails, by the way, number 5, Hiro. Hiro is an amazing character. He might, I said earlier, Victor might have the most interesting backstory. Hiro might be the only character to trump that. And the reality with Hiro's backstory is, yes, it is messy, I admit it. But he's still a really cool character, and I like this idea of him being this master of the railway type. He carries his wisdom very differently than a character like Edward or even Skarloey does. He's a very patient, rather introverted type, where he's not necessarily looking to drop nuggets and teach people things. He's more patient, willing to let people learn. He'll help when he can, but he doesn't want to overstep. He also has some unintentionally hilarious moments where you have that awkward conversation with the Fat Controller where he's missing his top hat. You have this scene where he sees Emily trying to warble, whistle, whatever that was, and you know, he's so worried he goes to tell the Fat Controller. But he's a very patient, fun character, and one of the best parts of Hiro is his relationship with Thomas. It's the thing that literally kicked off the CGI era of the show, and Hiro is just someone that is a joy to see on the screen all of the time he does, and he rarely disappoints. Number 4, Salty. That's right, the Dockyard Diesel has made the list. Salty's a fun character. Salty brings a fun vibe to the show, being the only piratey character among the cast. He bounces off well of all of the characters he interacts with frequently. You get these funny stories that he tells that are, some of them are scary, some of them are creepy, some of them are funny, some of them are adventurous, but he's also fairly patient with others. He has weaknesses, he has moments of vulnerability, but he also has a lot of moments of strength and power. And I think that's what makes him such a fun character. I think you get so many great moments with him in CGI. You get the poor old Salty in Diesel's Ghostly Christmas. Even an episode like Salty All at Sea that isn't the best. I understand what they were trying to do for his character, but his love of the sea is really, really cool, especially in the episode Away from the Sea. I just think that, like, even from his introduction, season 6, you get so, in his early appearances, you get so many great roles where he tells Gordon he's too big for his buffers, teaches Bill and Ben how to manage the trucks, and annoys Cranky with his stories. I just think Salty's such a fun character, and I think, like, without him, the show definitely would be missing something at the docks. But that's not the only thing they'd be missing, but we'll get to that later. Number 3, there's no one quite like Emily. And I'll be honest, when I made this list, wondered if Emily would be the top finishing character, and I placed her here mainly just because of the way she was portrayed in CGI. I have a lot of thoughts about Emily's character in the show, especially in the Hit era, and I'd love to do a separate video sometime talking about it, but I wanted to just kind of lay the groundwork here. I think she was used much better in the model era than she was in CGI, but I still find her a fairly enjoyable character overall. And I thought she brought a nice flavor to the cast. Obviously, adding more female involvement, and also I think she bounces off of all of the other characters in the Steam team pretty well. I think they did a really good job working her in to the Steam team, and that journey is kind of part of that video I want to talk about, some kind of saving some of the ideas here. So, yeah, she ranked pretty high, but I had two characters that I have to put just above her. Number 2, Diesel 10. Come on. When you think about Thomas and Friends, if you had to create a villain for this franchise, you'd probably create something similar to Diesel 10. And Diesel 10 is this insane character, both design-wise and personality-wise. And every appearance of his is pretty iconic in one way or another. You start with Magic Railroad, where you get one scene where he's heckling and joking around, and the next scene he's threatening to murder characters. And it's like you never really know what you're going to get scene to scene. Is it a little tonally off at times? Yes, but he still is a fun character, and I think he's just that insane enough that I can kind of believe why he can go from a murderous rampage to doing something ridiculously stupid from scene to scene. You go to Calling All Engines, and while it's not my favorite appearance of Diesel 10, I kind of like the grumpy janitor vibe he has in that. You go to Dave the Diesels, and his sinister, kind of more cunning side comes out, but you can still tell that he's unhinged and he's trying so hard not to choke a bitch every 2 seconds in that movie. Then you go on to Missing Christmas Tree Decorations, which is just more fun, silly Diesel 10, but I think it kind of is a fun use of his character, and I just wish they would use him more. Obviously, we haven't seen him in a while, but I feel like even though he didn't have a ton of appearances, he was spread out throughout the show, and I feel like, you know what? It's pretty iconic, and I think he deserves to be number 2 on this list. But there is a clear number 1. Number 1, Cranky. And Cranky is a character that I sometimes forget was created by the TV series. I sometimes believe that Cranky existed in the Rally series, and I kind of forget the fact that, like, oh yeah, Cranky's not in Season 2, because Cranky has just always been around the show. Cranky has been in every iteration of the show, and has played roles in all the iterations of the show, and he's been pretty consistently characterized. He's this grumpy, cranky figure to bounce off of the characters, and he has some amazing scenes. You have his attempted quote-unquote rescue of Percy in Tale of the Brave, where he nearly rips himself apart trying to save Percy, although he doesn't realize that is what he's doing. He's just kind of being a hero in this moment. You have so many times, like, one of my favorite episodes is No Sleep for Cranky, where he gets to bounce off of Salty and the twins, and he's just driven mad the entire episode. Hell, his introductory episode is iconic. I mean, can't think of a better welcome to the show episode than Cranky Bugs for a new character, and he just fits in so well. And he's one of those characters that if he wasn't here, you feel like something's missing. So, yeah, that is my list of top 10 original characters. If you guys have characters you think I missed, or characters you think I should have brought up, I'd love to hear what some of yours are in the comments. This has been Train King James. Hope you guys enjoyed. Happy Thanksgiving holidays to all who celebrate, and to everyone else, have a good day.